Greetings, seekers after enlightenment. Yes, it's the Irish fellow. As I've said before, many people want to see it, but I'm still on this side of the grass. And I am back with another rant. This one is entitled, Isolated, Not Alone. Now, before I begin, I have to talk about a certain picture that I have a great fondness for. And it was my plan to do this as a regular video with the standard introduction and pictures, but I'm kind of anxious. So I am presenting this to you now as a walk and talk. Now, this particular picture you have seen many times before, but I have never told you why it is significant. This picture is the school at Athens. I don't know who the other people are, but in the center of the frame are Socrates and Plato. Now, I see us doing this, brothers. Maybe we can do it in person. That would be freaking awesome. But there is still a connection with my brothers in the virtual world. One I draw strength from on a regular basis. It is a motto made famous by the Marines, and it is one that I continue to embrace. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Now that I am a free man, I have the time to ask hard questions and receive answers from the infinite. It is a vital part of your continued growth as a red pill man of wisdom and action. As you can see, my channel is where one can explore the infinite potential that is already within you. There are many ways that one can achieve enlightenment, and I am willing to share some of the techniques I use to maintain my mental clarity and focus. Now, just as a side note, whenever somebody subscribes to me and I receive the notification, which isn't always, I go and check out their channel and see if they've got any comment. Most times, there's nothing. Other times, there could be a bunch of videos, but they're an unorganized mess and nothing is put in a playlist. That is not very appealing. Now, I guess the haters would call this humble bragging, but all you have to do is look at the titles of my various playlists, and one can see a great degree of variety. I present them for you now. Homo Rationalis Physicalis, exercise videos, pursuit of excellence. Remember, nothing can stop you from learning. 21st century schizoid man. Self-examination during my journey. Seafood meditation garden. Nature scenes with music. The house of knowledge. Sharing knowledge and distilling wisdom. Anniversary and holiday. Special events seen through a red pill lens. Response videos. Enhancing my status as a self-appointed guardian of the Mgtow philosophy. And we cannot forget the Exile playlist. Exile 1, Exodus. Stream of consciousness rants. Showing a ruthless self-examination. Exile 2, Turning the Corner. More explorations into red pill truth and a refinement of principles. Exile 3, The New Era. The distilled wisdom from a man secure in his life, showing balance, focus, and harmony. And as I've said many times before, you may think you have reached the peak, but believe me, it is only a plateau. And the current one is Exile 4, Phoenix Rising. I simply call it Homo Rationalis in form, Renaissance man in execution. Now, brothers, I'm serious as a heart attack when I say this. I do not say these things to brag. There is no ego gratification. It is a simple fact. There are uncharted territories within your view. And there is nothing stopping you from taking that same journey yourself. No one can stop you from walking towards your destiny. Let me share some of the techniques I use to constantly operate at a high level. Now, remember, you're in the brutal honesty regime, and I am not ashamed to say that I have suffered a cognitive decline myself. I know that I am a hazard on the road if I'm driving and I'm talking on the cell phone. The first time I did it, I almost wrecked. But I managed to gain the skill. But now, a lot of years have passed, and I know better. And I don't want to be a hazard to someone else. So, if the phone rings, I do not answer. But remember, if you become aware of this situation, there is no need to panic. There are things you can do to lessen that decline, halt it, or perhaps reverse things. Yeah, buddy. Now, the first thing you got to do is just what I'm doing right now. Get physical. I mean, this one's obvious, but it's something that it's almost universally ignored. That as a mature man who is skilled in self-diagnosis and treatment, I know this to be true. Use it or lose it. Now there is, of course, a physical decline that comes with age, and that has a mental component as well. One of the things that defines me is my endurance. So it's frustrating to go on a walk and to have to stop and catch your breath. When you say to yourself, not too long ago, I would have been almost sprinting this distance. But see, you can't let ego get in the way. That there is, of course, a physical decline that comes with age. But exercise helps keep you mobile and active. Take it from one who knows. I mean, and this applies to your brain as well. Studies show that your brain receives 15% of the total blood flow and 20% of the oxygen you consume. Now, it is necessary for you to be aware of the indicators that may show a blockage to blood flow. Poor concentration, memory problems, dizzy spells, impaired balance, fatigue, headaches, depression, anxiety, cold hands and feet, and cramping. Now, this next part is not to pick on people, because I know there are people right where I was. You're trying, but you're so busy on the grind, you have a hard time cooking a healthy meal. And you end up just throwing something in the microwave or stopping by McDonald's. But that is just one of the things that can contribute to your unstable state. There are other factors that are possible causes. Smoking tobacco, an autoimmune disease, and AIDS is not the only one. I believe lupus is one as well. I think leukemia is one. Yeah, inflammatory diseases like arthritis, thyroid issues, having abnormally low or high blood sugar. And you may not have diabetes, which is a factor, but you could be susceptible just because your levels are off nominal. Or you could be like me. You could have anemia, low iron in the blood. And we cannot forget stress. The best part is, to counter all this, your actions are simple. Get off your ass and do something. Next, you should limit sugar. I mean, why are you wasting time putting sugar in your coffee? That just masks the flavor. If you're bona fide about coffee, you don't give a rat's ass about sugar, creamer, all that other crap. I mean, I go to Dutch Brothers and they're shocked when I order a straight up double espresso. But fuck no, I don't want no ice cubes, milk, cream, sugar, or any of that shit. I want the fucking crack in the cup, okay? Now, besides masking the flavor, there is another reason why you should avoid excess sugar. High fructose corn syrup is in everything. It's one of the reasons why we have an obesity epidemic. And, now you know me and conspiracy theories. It would make a more suspicious mind say that they did it on purpose. But we're not going to go there. So, avoid refined sugar. Now, if you're the type that has to have to add granular sugar to something, you can get granular fructose, which is sugar extracted from fruit rather than cane or beet sugar, which is the usual standard. And it has a lower glycemic index than cane or beet sugar, so it will not cause such a large spike in your insulin. And even though it is better to consume fruits rather than granulated sugar, you need to limit those too, because I believe it's mangoes are very high in sugar as a fruit, so you need to be careful. And I touched on this briefly, but I'm coming back to it. Limit your consumption of processed food. If it is fast food or something you can put in the microwave, it's processed. Now, you use them for convenience, but there's a hidden cost. You're consuming chemicals. Sometimes you're consuming empty calories. But you have to remember to protect your liver. Your liver processes everything that goes into your stomach. And some chemicals are broken down before they can actually reach your bloodstream to be deployed to where they can do any good, which is why we have injections into your body. But your liver's not a fool. If you're doing that, you're bypassing your regular cycles. And there may be a short-term benefit, but believe me, there is a long-term downside. So, to keep your liver functioning, eat more single ingredient foods. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Things like beans, sweet potatoes, oatmeal, and eggs. Now, I used to eat, liver is still one of my occasional favorites. You know how it is. You know, it's such a unique taste that you don't want it like every week. But you ask clowns that put that liver in tomato sauce, fuck you. Ew. No. Bread it and just fry it, just like a steak or chicken fried steak or a piece of chicken. You're just fine. But I haven't eaten liver in years because with commercial agriculture, the cows are being pumped full of hormones, chemicals, steroids to inhibit disease and encourage growth. And those chemicals don't just go through their system and go away. They're still there. Those of you old timers may remember when they were suddenly alarmed at mercury in the fish in the 70s. Yes, you know, the mercury's a heavy metal, and just like radioactives, they will enter your body and they will stay. You need special techniques. There's one called chelation to remove that stuff, or suitable herbs. So if you can, grow your own food. And I would even take the next step and say most of the food you eat should be raw or minimally cooked. As in, like, steaming your vegetables instead of boiling so you preserve the nutrients. Yeah, hey, trust me, your body will thank you. Now, I don't want you to think I'm just ragging on you for nothing. I'm a realist. So, I mean, I've got, I might have one left, a frozen meal in the freezer in the basement right now. So I'm not saying do as I say, not what I do, because hell, I'm old, weak, slow, and tired. Sometimes I don't want to fucking cook. So if you have to, or not have to, but if you decide to stock up your freezer so you're prepared, here is a handy guide to help you select quality food. When you compare products, look at these 3 items: total calories, fat, and fiber. You may not know, but those are the 3 metrics Weight Watchers uses to produce their point system. So it is valid, and I have used it in the supermarket before. It is a big help. Now, here is another issue that will help you in your pursuit of mental clarity and sanity. Maintain social ties, especially in these interesting times. One must acknowledge reality. Social gatherings are risky due to the risk of infection and domestic leftist terrorism. Yeah, I didn't forget about you Antifa soy boy LARPers pretending to be revolutionaries. When the 3%ers come out to play, you ain't gonna like it, but I ain't gonna go there. However, I can and do maintain contact with my brothers. This is important, especially if you're a monk. You must always remember that you are alone, but not isolated. Every man who has taken the red pill is my brother. I'm connected to my brothers in the virtual world, and so are you. Here's another tip for you. Do puzzles. When you're alone, it's kind of hard to play games and have feedback from a worthy opponent. So I have several games on my phone. Chess, cribbage, backgammon, and dominoes. I also engage in creative writing. I'm working on a science fiction trilogy, and I actively produce content on a regular basis. Now, there are other activities I plan on engaging in once I'm secure in retirement. I plan to teach myself piano, guitar, and one other instrument I haven't decided on yet. I mean, foreign languages are on the list too. Spanish, Latin, and one other. I'm even gonna try my hand again at crossword puzzles and Sudoku, and I suck at both of them. But I'm gonna do my best to overcome that, because one should never stop learning. Now, when you're alone, there's nobody to yell in your ear telling you you're drinking too much. But as a mature, red pill man of wisdom and action, you should already know to limit your alcohol. Excessive alcohol consumption will lead to brain damage. This is confirmed by scientific studies. Excess alcohol leads to a shrinkage of the brain's frontal lobes, and that is the most highly developed area of your brain. So avoid that cognitive decline. Limit yourself to 2 drinks a day, and avoid binge drinking. I mean, after all, if you wake up the next day at noon and you see an empty wallet and empty pockets, how do you know if you had fun? Now, this one, I'm working on myself. Stop smoking. Cigarettes are a toxic mix of tobacco and chemicals. I finally quit them after a difficult struggle. Oh, shit, now I gotta just stop smoking cigars. But regardless, I still smoke marijuana. What you call a drug, I call medicine. And last, there is adequate sleep. Sleep deprivation will cause an immediate decline in your memory, attention, and focus. Do not rely on coffee and energy shots to keep you going. There is nothing wrong with taking a nap when you feel the need to recharge. Also, consider how your body operates. Take note of when you're capable of peak performance and adjust your schedule accordingly. In my case, I wander between getting up early and sleeping in late because I have no schedule. So, brothers, remember, you are isolated but not alone. You can excel at whatever you turn your mind to. There is no need to listen or even acknowledge the presence of haters and their sycophants. Mgtow for life, monk for life.